Let's talk about how to be sane in an insane world. The world, the last few years, has been going insane. A lot of things were happening, and especially mental health of people have took a hit. And it got me thinking to a book that I was reading a little while ago called A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was a holocaust survivor. He was put through so many concentration camps, and the whole book was about his experience. And at the same time, he was talking about the mindset that got him through those horrible times. The summary of the book, The Man's Search for the Meaning, was essentially they could take away everything from him. They could take away his hair, they could take away his eyebrow, they could take away his identity, they could starve him to death, they would take away his physical capabilities. But he noted the one thing they cannot take away is his perception on how he was seeing all the things that were happening. So that's what got him through, and that's how he survived. So he did not lose hope, and the way he saw the whole thing was, you could beat me to death, you could starve me, you could shave my head, but one thing you cannot do is take my mindset away, change my perception. So he created a mental framework in his mind. Although all this negative stuff was happening towards him, his framework was so strong that he saw them all as positive thing. I know it sounds crazy, but he did not let those external circumstances affect his perception. And that got me thinking, if you can cultivate that mindset, you can survive anything that's going to happen right now. You wouldn't be worried about what's happening on the news. You wouldn't be worried about the upcoming food shortage. You would not be worried about the next pandemic or whatever. You would have such a strong framework that no matter what happens, your perception will be yours. You will be able to choose how you're going to react to it, as opposed to being sucked by those external circumstances. So how can we cultivate that? That's how you can be sane in an insane world. So you have to have this level of detachment from the events and from the outcomes that you're experiencing, so you can cultivate a perception that will keep you sane in an insane world. The first technique that I can share with you that's going to help you detach is meditation. Meditation is by far the best tool that I have come across that helps me maintain a sense of detachment from the way that I perceive it to the actual outcome. It's almost like things happen to me in slow motion, especially when something tragic happens in my life, or when a trauma comes, or like when something happens to me that's not to my expectation. Before, I just used to get riled up in that emotion that would be brought up, but now in that moment I'm able to be calm. Think of like that twister or the hurricane. If you look at the center of the hurricane, I know, like, even though there's like so much debris and all that stuff flying around, at the center it's peace. It's as if like nothing is going on. That's how you would feel if you can be detached from the emotions that you're experiencing. Everybody's going to experience emotions. I'm not saying not to feel emotions, but you have to react to it differently, or not to react to it at all. Just be detached and see things objectively, so that you can strategize on your next moves, as opposed to being sucked by those emotions where you're making all your decisions based on fear, are based on anger and frustration, that's going to lead you nowhere, because when you do that, you're only going to react to the next step that's in front of you. But if you can detach from the outcome, like no matter what they do to you, no matter what happens to you, if you can detach yourself from the outcome and then the emotions that you're feeling, you'll be able to find that centeredness, the calm in the storm. And from that point, you would not only see the step one, you would probably see the entire freaking staircase all the way up to the top. And then you can lay out your moves, what you want to do. That's how you can win. Think of it like chess, like, chessboard. If you play chess, the person who's winning is always thinking 10 to 15 moves ahead of the other person. So you have to see things that way. And the only way you can strategize is by using your prefrontal cortex, not your amygdala. That's your reptilian brain. So that's what happens usually when people react with emotions. It's not their rational mind acting, it's their irrational mind, the amygdala, the reptilian brain, that's hijacking their body and acting to those emotions. So you have to train yourself to maintain control in those moments. Instead of letting your amygdala take over, you have to, in that moment, be centered enough so that you give the control over to your prefrontal cortex to help you make those strategic decisions. Meditation, like I said, is a great tool that's going to help you do that. So practice meditation like at least 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes. Ideally, you want to be doing it for 20 minutes until you're able to feel what that centeredness feel like. And that's what's going to help you keep calm in those emotions. You're going to have to do meditation until it becomes your second nature. And that's when you will be able to be sane in an insane world. Hope you find that helpful. Until next time, take care, my friends.